Welcome, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, August 16th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are, what do we got here? Oh, Knight of Swords in its upright in combination with, oh my goodness, Emperor in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this energy right now. I'm going to tell you right now, if this energy is already getting to you, if it's already frustrating you, I want you to work through grounding through it right now. One of the reasons, and I'm going to tell you even now, one of the things I think that may be putting a little bit more energetic pressure in terms of how we're feeling this energy was, and I kept on saying this, I was anticipating the fact that Mercury retrograding in Leo was kind of helping us through a lot of this retrograde cycle. Because one of the things that we recognize, I know, and here's the thing about it, we give the Mercury retrograde we interpret the Mercury retrograde all wrong very frequently. Mercury retrogrades are not here to break things down. Mercury retrogrades arrive to help us recognize what we need to what we can innovate upon versus what feels like it's working just fine for us, right? It sometimes feels like things like processes, right? Things that we do without thinking. That's why often we notice those moments in retrograde periods where it feels like things start crimping up, because they help us identify the difference between a groove and a rut. And it's always very interesting too to pay attention to where Mercury's retrograding. Now, one of the things that we're seeing is with all of these energies, like we've got 1, 2, 3, we've got so many planets right now that are retrograding in Aries. And what does that mean? It can make you feel short of temper. It can make you feel short of patience. It can make you feel energetically irritated upon things. It can really do some wonky things also in relationality to one's own relationship to time. Okay, because Aries often come here to work through healing their relationship to time. We're having issues in relationality to Saturn. That's why we see often that there's so many Aries that are clock obsessed. Now, when we're doing that in a way that feels like it's energetically supportive of the self, we're able to build upon our sense of patience, right? And it also is requiring us to work through our space of energetic compassion. Now, there's some very important things to notate here because what we're effectively seeing and identifying and recognizing is working through energetic frustrations to find new ways to solve old problems. Now, what are we effectively identifying that's occurring in those modalities? So when Mercury was retrograding with all of those planets going through that, what was Mercury effectively saying? Have you put a little compassion towards it, right? Understanding that sometimes the way by which we are able to carry something allows us to change our perspective on it, and in the process of doing so, find new ways to move through things. Now, that's why I would not be surprised right now if you've told me that like the last few days, right? You're like, I don't know what happened. It just feels like it feels like things got more intense. I actually feel like the reason that we're feeling the heightened intensity in this retrograde has more to do with the fact that Mercury isn't retrograding along with the other planets within it. So now it's like the balance, we had the compassion. We had the energetic compassion, like helping to smooth out all of that retrograde energy. And now Mercury is moving again. And we see even now that for a lot of the energy working through that, it can feel really like I keep on seeing it can feel like there's a tendency to be very, very hard on the self. But that's why we also recognize that the ability to kind of work through something, right? The ability to give oneself a bit of, I keep on saying, giving oneself that bit of easement, allowing that context by which one is able to articulate and amplify upon something. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, it's allowing the context by which something can, like we can resolve through things. But It's also recognizing and identifying where we feel our energetic frustration upon things. And that's why I kept on saying that for a lot of the energy in separation right now, I see it a couple of different modalities that are occurring here. One of the major ones, one of the major messages I just keep on coming through with in relationality to this retrograde cycle is like progress allows things to move forward. And this is often why, and I keep on getting this message, the space by which another person separates in order to heal. That's why I keep on hearing separating in order to heal is energetically absurd, because the entire aspect of a relationship is working through energetic problems together, right? There's no progression in energetic separation. It's the identification. Often, though, there's the space by which we separate, which is the space by which another person returns. And it's not necessarily the fact that one is trying to progress upon something, but checking to see if someone else's standards are still intact, is what I keep on seeing. And that's why I keep on hearing that there may be a lot of these modalities or moments where there's some unhealthy cycles that are reaching their finalitude moment. And it's the observation that when we're building into a healthy relationship, we hold our standards for one another. We identify and we recognize them. We build upon them. So we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, that observation is allowing for what feels energetically fundamental. Everything I keep on seeing here, it's like there's a lot of the energy that is working through the frustration of a potential past experience wherein another person did not want to work through something but moved away from something in order to resolve it, right? And then energetically returns to see if something has been solved in their absence. And that's why I keep on hearing that for some of the relationships in that context, there may be a lot of finalitude that is energetically occurring in those experiences, because the finalitude is the energetic closure in the difference in the observation as to whether there's a mutual appreciation on what needs to be energetically solved. While for a lot of these new relationships that are coming together right now, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of these relationships coming together, the ability to recognize and identify the frustration that we often hold in those past experiences, right? The space or place wherein we feel energetically frustrated about something. I told you, these are temperance relationships that are forming right now. And I keep on hearing these are the relationships that are being forged in mutual audacity of things. And that's not necessarily a negative, right? Because when we're in a healthy space, having audacity upon something allows the context by which we look upon something from the past, and we feel that space of frustration, right? And that's why I keep on seeing that for some of these relationships, those two situations that I'm speaking upon, they're potentially occurring simultaneously. There's potentially an experience where someone is trying to build into a healthy relationship with another person, right? And almost predicating. Because remember, we had that wild card. If you had an opportunity to go look at the Substack, we had the photo up there. We had the Three of Pentacles with the Ace of Swords that came out. It was a lot of that sword and stone energy. It's like you could have set a watch to it, is what they kept on saying. You could have set a watch to it. Somebody almost being able to articulate the expectation of someone that they were working to heal from coming back, very much in the same place that they found them, but with the expectation of seeing if another person had gotten over something or resolved something, right? This is what we effectively see is happening that is fortifying these energetic partnerships. And I'm going to say it may even be a moment of expressing relief. And why are we seeing that there's an expression point of relief that is occurring in those experiences? Because it's the observation of feeling that sense of energetic frustration that reaffirms one's own commitment to one's healing process. This brings us to the center card today, and we've got here the World card in its reversal. So what are we getting with this World card in its reversal? One of the things that we're identifying here, I told you, for some of this energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, specifically, I'm speaking very much towards some of those magician partnerships that were coming together from about the time of the solstice period up until the time that Neptune and up until the time that Mercury and Venus stationed direct behind Neptune. You'll remember that for a lot of those relationships, the prioritization point was the authenticity that they were bringing to one another in partnership. And that ability of feeling the space of being authentic, it's the observation of being able to recognize and identify what is energetically possible. And so for a lot of this energy, I keep on seeing there's potentially both a speeding up of an energetic timeline, right? The observation of feeling like it's silly to wait to move into a deeper sense of commitment because it doesn't feel like it's going to change something. It just feels like it affirms what's already there. But in the same space, I almost see that there's this playfulness that's coming through in a lot of those connections. But the playfulness, I keep on hearing, it's bringing through a lot of healing of chirality. And why are we hearing that it's bringing through a lot of healing of chirality? Because chirality is healing something that looks like something else, but it's understanding the nuance that allows one to separate upon the difference. So what we're effectively seeing that's happening in those relationships, if these are situations where another person, again, someone from the past, because we're going through this retrograde energy, right? I keep on hearing the same message coming through, which is it's not teasing. It's not kind to tease something that one never intends to bring forth, right? So a lot of but working through the space of another person articulating, like I keep on hearing, we don't strap conditions to manifestations as it relates to person, which is the conditionality by someone saying, if you do this, you'll never get that, right? And then trying to say to another person that they were too sensitive, right? But in the context of doing so, this is the understanding of recognizing and feeling the intense difference of what it actually feels like, what it means when we tease something in a healthy way, right? The space by which we offer something to another, and then we playfully pull it back as if we would ever not receive it, right? So I feel like for a lot of those energies right now, like working through those type of nuanced like spaces, there's a lot of very nuanced healing that is effectively happening in being able to recognize the energetic difference. This brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now. Clarification, next two cards in our 5-card spread before we start getting clarification on these cards. Ooh, this is not the first time we've had these cards today. Wait a minute. Holy moly, hold on a minute. Where was it? We've had this spread before. I would argue that we had this spread just a few days ago. We've got the five of wands in combination with the 5 of wands in combination with the Queen of Swords in its upright. Now this is very interesting. Let's talk about what we're seeing here, because what we're effectively identifying right now, I want to figure out what exact day it was, because these two cards were exactly in the same proximation point to one another. Okay, and this is important because I want to show you right now, this is where we find masculine and feminine energy. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of alignment that is potentially happening today, because I'll tell you right now, the bearing in mind, this is not for masculine and feminine. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. What do we see right now for the masculine energy? Okay, what do we got next to masculine energy? We've got Emperor energy and Knight of Swords. Okay, and Emperor in its reversal. We've got feminine, Queen of Swords, 5 of Wands. So what are we effectively identifying that is occurring? Not letting the retrograde affect you, particularly and especially as it relates to working through energetic frustrations. This is the vibe right now. It's a frustrating energy. It's frustrating. We've got a bunch of planets that are retrograding out right now in Aries, right? It was a little bit easier when Mercury was retrograding too, because again, it was allowing a little bit of the context of compassion. So if you're feeling a bit of that space right now, or if you're working through something to a certain extent, I keep on identifying like the ability to energetically resolve or the ability to effectively work through the frustrations of the self, but from a point of energetic productivity. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, I'm going to say that again, this energy is most frustrating. Because I want you to remember and I want you to see that how we're talking about the energy in separation and the energy moving into divine union, there's something about the observation of that path work that feels like it's energetically fortifying, right? We observe, we see that energetic space that feels energetically fortified in relationality to like what, like how, like it's a frustration that's empowering the deepening of these energetic partnerships. The frustrate these are a lot of the relationships that we see that are deep within divine union right now. The most recent energy into that space were those chariot partnerships, right? And those were the relationships that were coming together from about the time that Mercury and Venus stationed direct behind Neptune up until the time that Mars went direct. The frustration isn't really changing the direction of the relationship. It may be feeling more like a testiness or feeling testy, like working through the testiness of the self or circumstances, feeling a lot of that hypersensitivity. I'm going to tell you right now, it'll get easier. It's definitely going to get easier when Venus moves out of Cancer. I'll tell you that, because the thing is with Venus and Jupiter in Cancer right now, okay, like I just want to tell you this as it relates to how you might be feeling. It's very easy to feel very, very sensitive, right? Super, super sensitive. And then you got all these planets retrograding in Aries. So you got super, super sensitive encounters, like super, superly energetically irritable, right? And that can sometimes create that space of like feeling very, very energetically frustrated or working through that energetic frustration point. But what do we see that a lot of the energy right now is doing as they work through that energy? They're learning to become comprehensive, right? They're working into the space of becoming more comprehensive as it relates to feeling that energetic force of determination to help fortify instead of energetically confound. Continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Swords in its upright in combination with our Emperor in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify? Wow, there's that 10 of Wands in its reversal. So one of the things that we're effectively seeing at this time, it has to do, I keep on getting, for a lot of the energy in separation, the ability to, like, I keep on seeing for a lot of this energy in separation, I keep on getting, I need to describe this. Frustrated but affirmed is what I keep on hearing. Why do I keep on hearing that the energy in separation feels frustrated but affirmed? Because you'll recall that we spoke upon, we've talked a lot about the fact that energy, like we find trauma when we aren't able to understand when we're not able to understand the pain that we are experiencing. Right? When something is energetically confusing, it is the perfect formula to create trauma, because it's the space by which we work through something and we don't understand it that makes it energetically hard to carry. And so what I keep on seeing is for a lot of energy, right? I keep on seeing if these are and this is what I meant, if these are situations or circumstances wherein another person moved away from a situation with the expectation that the ability to, I keep on hearing, the ability to move away from something, right, was just going to be enough to energetically resolve whatever the situation was. If these are situations where someone tries to come back towards the self in the process of healing, I keep on hearing that there's been no pining, right? Because when we're healing, there's no pining in the context of understanding that these are relationships or situations, either individuals working towards their manifestation goals, right? Being very resolute in relationality to what they're working on, or these are new relationships that have been forming in the space of that time. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, the one vector that I'm identifying maybe feeling very energetically heavy is anyone who potentially, again, this is why we don't do things of this nature, tried to move away from a situation expecting that the problem would resolve itself. Problems don't resolve themselves. It's the space by which we, and when we feel, and I keep on hearing someone say, my standards are not problems to be solved, right? Like my standards are not problems to be solved, because when we are able to meet each other in the same space, like that is the space by which we honor one another's standards. So that's why I keep on seeing that any of those fundamental separations that are potentially happening here, this is why they feel healthy, because they feel healthy because I can hear the energy coming into a space of closing an energetic cycle. And as they're closing the energetic cycle, right, it's almost like the energy of someone coming back and saying, are you still upset about that? And another person saying, my standards are not a problem to be solved, which says we don't put distance, like they don't, a standard, here's the thing, and this is what I keep on getting. An emotion, and okay, this is very nuanced. So let's take a moment to understand, because this is some of the chirality that I was talking about deep within divine union, moving into the energy and separation. Okay, there are emotions, time, and this is what we meant in the understanding of what time can solve versus what cannot be resolved with time. Time is based upon the emotions, right? When we feel strong emotions towards something, and this is what we talk about, there are always moments that we sometimes have too many strong emotions about something, right? Emotions can kind of fog our own clarity. So in the space by which we are able to observe, and this is the message that we're getting with this retrograde, in the space that we're able to get proximity from something in relationality to our emotions, we sometimes recognize and identify where our emotions were not necessarily from the place of holding our energetic standards, but the observation, as it were, of, and this is why we talk about doing that necessary work and understanding that honoring our emotions is not just projecting them outwards, right? The observation in any resolutions that can happen in this are only coming through in the space of another person being able to articulate upon the space by which their emotions stand in the way of things, right? This is what we mean in terms of understanding the solutions that time brings, because time brings us perspective. So when our emotions are just there, but they're not honoring our standards, this is why we talk about the fact that the space of understanding where the emotions come from is necessary. Because when the emotions are moving in accordance with the self, the emotions are given to another in the space where the standards are, right? Not in spaces that they are not. So that's why I keep on hearing that the space by which, right, I see either some conversations happening where another person is talking about working through the context of getting in a better relationship with their emotions. Again, I'm not surprised to hear that with Venus and Jupiter both in Cancer right now. But, and that's why I keep on hearing the fundamental closures that are potentially happening right now in some kind of circumstances or situations, is the observation of another person coming back, right? Moving away from someone at a point that there was an argumentation that was happening in relationality to standards, and saying, are you still in that space? And that's why I keep on hearing the energy having, like I almost hear like the trauma that's being eased with the energetic clarity in another person being able to say to them at that moment, my standards are not problems to be energetically solved, which is why when we're feeling very emotional, but we're able to articulate the reason why, like it's not, the emotions become energetically logical, because the emotions are coming forward because it's something that's energetically important to us, right? So that's why I keep on hearing a lot of these. Remember how I said these temperance relationships that are coming together right now? They've got very, very strong foundations. The reason that they have very, very strong foundations is because what is the sound of those relationships coming together? The energetic cycles that are closing right now are saying my standards are not a problem to be solved. And the energy that's moving into divine union is saying to one another, you have a right to be upset. Because the space of them saying you have a right to be upset, what are they doing? In both contexts, they're recognizing the emotions, the emotions that are validated because they're the emotions that are supporting the energetic pillar of the standard. Continuing to get clarity between the Emperor card in its reversal in combination with the World card in its reversal. Can I please get one card to clarify? There, woo, look at that. Look at that. As soon as I articulated upon, as soon as I started talking about like the energetic standards, like we've got that Ace of Wands coming through in its reversal. So for a lot of the energy, what we're effectively seeing, and I remember and this is speaking specifically towards the magician relationships. And you'll remember that we articulated that those magician relationships, the authenticity of the self, was the prioritization of being able to be in the relationship and the mutual appreciation that we're finding in those relationships. I keep on saying it feels energetically fortifying. It feels like I keep on seeing like there's something there. This is the energy that is deepening in the process of connection. And that's why I kept on saying I would not be surprised right now if there is an element of surprise in some of these relationships, because I keep on hearing it's the surprise of advancing a timeline. It's the space by which it feels silly to wait upon something, because it's the understanding that when we feel energetically stable in a relationship, we don't feel the excitement in terms of changing the relationship. It feels more like the energetic announcement point, right? And that's what I told you about some of that energy that's healing in a deep way over and especially in any relationships that they may have been in where they were like arguing about moving something deeper in connection, hoping to energetically solve a problem. I keep on hearing deepening does not solve things. It often worsens them. Continuing to get clarification between our World card in its reversal in combination with our Five of Wands in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Ooh, we've got here our Page of Swords in its upright. So one of the things that we're identifying is for a lot of the energy that we're seeing that is deep within divine union, a lot of that energy that we were identifying upon, and we're speaking towards, I keep on seeing a lot of those chariot relationships. That's like the most recent. That is the most recent energy to move into divine union. But for a lot of those relationships that we're identifying and recognizing deep within divine union, everything I keep on seeing here, I keep on hearing it's working through the expansion of the self or the relationship is what I keep on seeing. And these are either the conversations, I keep on saying, these are the energies that are, and it feels like a lot of like the ability to be able to articulate and identify like what one's own vision is what I keep on seeing. Like the ability to kind of progress that forward or to speak upon something in a way that allows the context by which it feels energetically supportive. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, this feels like it's working through the frustration of the self in new ways. It's identifying and recognizing what one is trying to do in a better fashion. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy that is working through those frustrations, like it's like I keep on hearing it's like trying to take the frustration and move it into a space that it feels like it's energetically productive, right? So for a lot of the energy doing that work right now, like I would not be surprised if like the energy feels like there's like a bit of a grind energy here, right? Because I keep on hearing like often when we're going through retrograde cycles, it feels like everything is just like, I keep on saying like everything is just a little bit harder. Everything just feels like nothing is moving smoothly. It's like everything needs to have like, you got to put like a little bit more energetic pressure on here. And I keep on getting, it's like, it's working through the context of understanding like what we mean when we talk about like elbow grease or the space of understanding that like we work through something, right? We work through something in a space by which we're not just like, and I like to describe the reason we call it elbow grease is because it's not just moving, but it's moving something in a space where you're able to like have a little degree of finesse to it, like working through, like I keep on hearing like these are the energies that are working through like frustration and finding finesse in the process is what I keep on hearing. When we work through frustration, we find finesse in the process because we don't let the frustration get to us. We allow, I keep on hearing it allows us, we allow it to make it, it allows us to do something in a smoother way or in a smoother fashion. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Wands in its upright in combination with our Queen of Swords in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify? There's that two. There's the two of there's those two of swords in its reversal. I'm telling you right now, there I keep on hearing like this is I'm getting this is ending and a begin and this is ending and beginning energy is what I'm seeing right now for energy and separation. Remember when I said this energy that we're experiencing right now, this is the culmination of a lot of those temperance relationships, is what I keep on seeing. Because you'll have to recall, what did we articulate was happening in a lot of relationships? The ability to articulate upon the past is what I keep on hearing. And I keep on hearing some of this energy and separation saying that they've been burned by the past before. And why are they saying that they were burned by the past from the past before? Because I keep on hearing that the articulation of sentiment, right? The observation, I keep on hearing the energy and separation almost saying to one another or saying internally. They've seen energy talk a big talk in relationality to what they're walking away from, is all I keep on hearing from energy and separation. I just keep on hearing the energy say they've seen energy in the past talk a big talk as it relates to energy that they're moving away from, right? But that's why I keep on seeing that there's an affirmation that's occurring right now in the space of these relationships as it relates to the energetic resolve, right? The space by which one identifies and recognizes the direction sense, right? The space, remember when I said that a lot of these relationships that are coming together right now, they appreciate the fact that the energy itself, that the one another have that sense of strong, healthy, energetic like direction. And that's what I keep on hearing. They've healed from rejection, right? They didn't allow another person's rejection to hinder their own energetic progress. They continued on their manifestation work unimpeded, right? Which is what we do, which is I keep on seeing the energy that was energetically saddened by something, but they didn't allow it to create a space of waiting. They just continued to move towards their manifestation goals. And now even here we see that energy being able to understand the difference between moving towards something that is energetically for them, while at the same time the past potentially energetically arriving back, but not in the space of wanting the same things as them, but almost asking them to return back to the thing that they've been energetically healing from. And this is why I see that for a lot of the energy right now, this is what I meant in terms of this energy being that like I've got this like energy of relief is what I keep on seeing in some of these spaces. You know what I mean? I almost feel like it's a little bit of this like band-aid rip moment that's occurring in the context of those spaces, because it's the energy that not only I keep on hearing, it's the embodied manifestation of not only someone articulating their energetic direction, but then moving in energetic accordance to it. Right? It's, I keep on seeing like, it's like, I keep on hearing, and that's why I keep on hearing the energy that's saying you have a right to be upset, because it's the context of being able to feel the validation point in relationality to what they both been energetically working upon. And the fact that they're healing. And I keep on hearing it's the energy that feels, I keep on hearing the certainty in relationality to being able to note, to recognize that they're healing together. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Wands in its reversal and our Ace of Wands in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify? For the energy, wow, for the energy moving deeper into divine union right now. Like I told you, like there's some energy right now that I'm seeing that is, I just keep on seeing this for the energy moving deeper into divine union right now. There's I keep on like I just keep on getting there's this energetic surprise energy here. There's something really beautiful that we're seeing that's happening in the context of being able to recognize and identify what one is trying to do better. Like this is what we see with the high priestess and the emperor in its reversal. Look at the energy here. Like look at the energy moving into divine union right now. Like this is the energy that's moved, like they're moving deeper into divine union, but there's also the observation and recognition point of feeling that energetic stabilization and everything that we keep on seeing here. One of the things we're identifying is for a lot of the energy doing this work, this is actually a positive. It's not, you have to understand, it's not necessarily negative to see a card in its reversal, because we're talking here about energetic counterparts. So we see even now that this is the space by which they're identifying and recognizing how it feels to be able to energetically complete upon something. And there's something important and vital as it relates to that form of energetic completion, because a lot of the completion that we're energetically seeing that's occurring in that modality is the space by which there is a recognition of the masculine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, feeling like they're in a space where they're able to heal their inner child, like the identification point of feeling that adaptability. And simultaneously, we see a lot of the feminine energy being in that space of feeling the authenticity to be their own self. So it's, again, I keep on hearing they're mirroring each other, but in the best way possible. Because when we're in the space of a healthy mirror, right, it's the mutual appreciation by which things become possible, because I keep on seeing, and this is the work that we're identifying here, I keep on hearing the sky's the limit for these energetic partnerships, because they're not looking at each other conditionally, they're looking at each other aspirationally, right? And that's the thing that they keep on seeing. Like it's a lot of that energy that's working on and articulating upon the fact that we put potential not on personhood, but on manifestation goals and energetic direction. Continuing to get clarification between our Ace of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Page of Swords in its upright. For the energy deep within divine union right now, this is why for the energy deep within divine union right now, this is... Do you see what I'm talking about here? The energy right now that is coming into divine union, the energy in separation, energy coming into divine union, it's not as frustrating. Why is it not as frustrating? Because for a lot of the energy articulating and doing that work, that ability of being able to feel fortified through frustration is deepening an energetic connection. But that's why we recognize that for a lot of the energy that is deep within divine union, like I said, it's not changing the energetic direction of the relationship. It's already very stable in that space. But what we're effectively seeing that's happening is working through the frustration of the self. And I keep on hearing that a lot of that energy is, I keep on seeing, it's like it's working through becoming energetically comprehensive, right? It's doing something in a bigger way. It's doing something in a bigger fashion. It's articulating upon what one is like what one's aspirations are. Because that's something I just keep on seeing there is there's something very, I keep on hearing there's something very energetically important as it relates to the ability to articulate upon what one is trying to do in a bigger fashion or what one is trying to heal in a relationship. So what's beautiful about that is I keep on seeing that there's a lot of fine tuning that's coming through for a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union, right? And a lot of it is also working through, like I keep on hearing, when we feel frustrated, right? But we don't, when we feel frustrated, but we don't let the frustration get to us, that's where we find finesse, is what I keep on hearing. When we feel frustrated and we don't let the frustration get to us, that is where finesse is formed. It's the ability by which we're able to just look at frustration and say, look, here's a way we can smooth through that. Here's a solution to that energetic problem. Look, now it's not a problem anymore, right? So it's like, it's a lot of that. There's a lot of that space by which we're identifying that is occurring. Continuing to get clarification between Page of Swords in combination with our Two of Swords in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. We've got here our Ace of Cups in its upright. For a lot of the energy right now in separation, I've got there's something really beautiful that's coming through in relationality to the end for the energy and frustration. And I want to say, I keep on hearing frustrated at a beautiful view is what I keep on hearing. I keep on hearing there's something about some energy in separation having frustration at a beautiful view. But that's why I keep on hearing it's feeling the reason someone is feeling frustrated is because they're not feeling devastated, because they can see something with clarity, is what I keep on hearing. The reason someone is frustrated but not devastated is because they can clearly see what is energetically happening. It's the observation point, being able to recognize what one is healing from. And so I keep on seeing that, and that's what I meant. This is what I meant in terms of some of these relationships that are coming together at this time, because I keep on hearing that the space, and this is what we mean. Like, these are not the energies, these are the energies, and this is what I meant about them being temperance relationships. They're not letting sentiment confound them, is what I keep on hearing. Because you'll recall we talked about the fact that to a certain extent, and we understand this, we started off a lot of those temperance relationships in the same modality. Remember how we said sentiment is sediment? And why is it saying sentiment is sediment? Because sentimentality often distorts memory. Sentimentality often distorts memory, right? We can get very sentimental on things that were not kind to us in the past, is what I keep on seeing. Sentiment distorts memory. So the ability to understand, I was trying to say hear, and I said heal, because this is the energy that's learning to hold sentiment in the right ways, right? The sentiment, I keep on hearing, the sentiment that energetically fortifies is what strengthens a relationship, the sentiment that becomes cement, right? So the energy that becomes stronger in the context of that. So that's why I keep on hearing that the space by which these relationships are healing, that's what I said in the space by which, if there was some kind of situation where another person was feeling energetically emotional and they were holding emotionality on something that they were very energetically firm about, and another person moved away from them in that moment instead of holding their standards for them, and then as that person continued to heal from that, they continued to hold those energetic standards and continued to strengthen upon them. If someone comes back and says, are you still in the space of holding those pesky standards about something? Are you still waving those problems around? Like, that's why I keep on hearing the energy saying my standards are not a problem to be solved. They're not something that time erases, because it's a standard, is what I keep on hearing. And the space by which we understand the way we heal, the way we work through standards, is by being able to articulate and define on progress what it is that we're trying to do in a better fashion, something that we're trying to do in a different way. So everything I keep on seeing that's occurring there is a lot of the energy that is, I keep on hearing, the fundamental space by which another person is ready. I keep on hearing the space by which another person says, that's what I meant about the ability of saying the frustration of a beautiful view is potentially for some energy in separation, observing like something coming back from the past and recognizing the limitation in relationality to what could heal, because another person is not in the same space by which they are trying to progress, but rather hoping that another person forgets, is what I keep on seeing. And then I see the energy, and that's why I see the energy like going like this, because the energy is like, it's the ability of feeling energetically fortified in terms of recognizing that they're moving in the correct direction. Well, for a lot of the new relationships that are coming together right now, this is why I feel like there's this element of relief that we're identifying that is occurring in these experiences. Because if these are moments or situations where there was a lot of articulation upon a past relationship, or a lot of articulation upon something unhealthy that one was trying to move away from. And then this retrograde is bringing them, like, someone back in that capacity. And someone not only was able to predicate that, but it's not changing their energetic direction sense. This is a lot of those relationships that are moving deeper into divine union, because the energy is saying, finally, the embodied manifestation, not someone who just articulates upon what they want, but is moving in accordance with the understanding of the relationship that is fundamental or healthy in that direction. So that's why I keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy, like expressing the relief, because it feels fundamentally like they are energetically healing together. That brings us to a lot of the energy that's deep within divine union. And that's why right now, for the energy deep within divine union, this feels so rigorous. This feels so energetically more frustrating. Clarification between our high priestess in its upright in combination with our four of pentacles in its reversal. Ooh, we've got here the Lovers card. And I keep on seeing for like the energy, for the energy deep within divine union right now, I keep on hearing it's working. And remember, for a lot of these relationships that we were identifying, and we're speaking directly towards the energy that's most recently entered into divine union, which were those chariot partnerships that we identified from between the time that Mercury and Venus stationed direct behind Neptune up until the Mars, the Mars stationing direct earlier this year. For a lot of energy right now, it's the understanding that says frustration is a gift because it allows us to fine tune, is what I keep on hearing. Frustration is a gift because it allows us to fine tune. That when we have frustration and we navigate our frustration with finesse, then we don't have to have frustration on things anymore. Is what I keep on hearing. Like, that's how easy. I keep on hearing that's how easy it can be. It's moving through I keep on hearing it's like moving through the frustration into a space of ease. And I keep on hearing like that. Remember, these are chariot partnerships. And this is what we see, that the relationships they appreciate with one another is being able to like move through something and not see that the relationships they appreciate with one another is being able to like move through something and not what one is trying to fashion. So that's why I keep on saying that for a lot of these relationships, there's a bit of that. I keep on hearing there's a bit of that energetic smoothness that's occurring, but it's also articulating upon what is energetically possible. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Ace of Cups in its upright. We've got here the Page of Wands in its reversal. Now, this is very interesting that we're seeing right now with the Page of Wands in its reversal, because wow, like this is what I meant about some of these relationships that are coming together at this time. They're taking their time. They're not rushing processes. They're observing what it is that they're healing from. And I keep on seeing there's something about the observation of what they're healing from that feels, I keep on seeing, feels even more evident, is what I keep on seeing. Because you have to remember, like I keep on hearing the reason I keep on hearing evident is because it's the space by which another person potentially was talking about their past. I keep on hearing talking about the past, right? Like working through the frustration of the past. And then I keep on hearing, like, even in the space of saying, like, someone else, like, talking about another, like, an unhealthy energetic cycle, or the difference between working through something or trying to go away and come back and hope that something would be resolved in the space by which another person leaves. This is even the context of someone saying, like, I keep on hearing the energy say, not only do you have good direction sense forward, you've got good direction sense backwards. Is what I keep on hearing the energy say. You've got good direction sense forward and backward because you're able to effectively identify, you're able to energetically identify the direction that you're heading in and what you're energetically healing from. Right. And that's why I keep on hearing this energy, feeling that point of relief, because it's the energy that looks at one another and says, I like, it's almost like I see the energy, maybe even not even saying this to one another, but they're breathing an internal sigh of relief, because I keep on hearing that the context by which another person articulates that, and then someone sees them moving in accordance to it, it's the embodied manifestation that is articulated in another person being true to their word, right? Like that's the energy I keep on hearing, like they're looking at each other and they're saying that they're true to their word because they understand. I keep on hearing the things that they're saying aren't just things they're saying to themselves, they're the things that they energetically mean. And that's what I keep on seeing, that for a lot of the energy doing that work, I keep on hearing it feels like a relief. It feels like a release because there was the anxiety. I keep on seeing like working through the anxiety of another person's articulations changing in the space of being able to predicate something versus predicating something and then returning back to it, is what I keep on hearing. Because that's sometimes something that you encounter, someone that articulates clearly what is happening and then moves right back into this to the space by which they're saying that they're trying to energetically heal from. Final card for today's spread is our Knight of Wands in its upright. For a lot of the energy right now, that's what I meant, for the energy that's deep within divine union right now, like coming into divine union. This is why I would not be surprised if this time that we're finding right now, there may be a lot of surprise energy as it relates to proposals or the deepening of energetic connections. I keep on hearing that a lot of that energy is feeling, I keep on feeling, they're feeling the certainty of the relationship in such a way that it feels silly to energetically wait upon something, because it's not like I keep on hearing they're not waiting for the relationship to deepen. I keep on hearing like that's the energy that says when I'm sure about something, I'm sure about something. And so that's almost like, again, the energy healing and understanding that we don't move relationship deeper into partnership to fix something, but we feel that eagerness to do so because it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter in the best way possible, because it doesn't matter to us. It doesn't change the relationship, but it's the space by which we can energetically celebrate it or let others know upon how we energetically feel. And that brings us to a lot of the energy right now that's deep within divine union. And that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to a lot of the energy that is working through this energy right now, feeling the frustration and just allowing it to take the frustration and guide them into finesse. Right? When we feel frustration, we can move it into finesse, which is the space by which we do something in a different way. And then we don't have the frustration anymore. Is what I keep on hearing. Like, that's what's beautiful. I told you, like, that's what's beautiful about some of those chariot partnerships. I told you that those chariot partnerships, the harder thing that we're seeing is that energy, we saw that a lot of those relationships were being created by self-starters. Right. And for a lot of those energies, the hardest thing to do is learning how to articulate upon what their needs are. So that's why I keep on hearing that these are the relationships that are also healing from hyper independence. Right. Hyper independence is healed by learning how to communicate upon our needs, because when we communicate upon our needs, we don't harbor the frustration. We just articulate upon it, and it becomes finesse, and we see how easily we can move beyond it or through it, right? And so that's why I keep on hearing that for a lot of the energy, that it's the frustration that is fine-tuning the relationship, because it's the energy that feels energetically frustrated during this eclipse cycle, during this soon-to-be eclipse cycle, but during the retrograde, right? And then immediately just comes into a resolution space for it. And there you go. Now I see the energy being and that I keep on hearing sometimes the beauty of a healthy partnership is the space by which you recognize that when you're trying to do that together, you only get frustrated upon things once, is what I keep on hearing. You only get frustrated upon things once. It's just it's a frustration, and now there's a solution, and now everything moves smoother. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yep, particularly with the Judgment card. The one thing I want to articulate about, especially like, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to sing this from the rafters. I'm going to be telling you guys this. I need you to work on this right now. I mean that if this energy is getting to you right now, I want you to take a moment and make sure that you're in a good place, because I got to tell you, we've got eclipse season coming up, right? It's not the space it's not the space by which the retrograde energy is going to balance out. It's potentially going to intensify. It's going to potentially intensify. And we've got a Pisces full moon coming up, which means it can also create a lot of emotionality. So that's why I want you to make sure that you're finding, if you're feeling energetically frustrated in this type of energy, you're finding productive spaces to put that frustration. Don't be projecting it. Don't project it on those around you. I know that the temptation is strong. And here's the other thing. You have to understand, so it's not the fact, and I keep on hearing, and I don't want you to misunderstand me either. I am not saying that it's not okay to articulate upon your frustration of something, but let's go through it one more time. How can we determine the frustration that makes something energetically stronger? We just talked about it. It's okay to articulate a frustration that arises in proximation to an energetic standard, right? When we hold an energetic standard to something and we articulate our frustration, it allows another person to understand our standard in a better way, right? But what you want to be conscientious about, right? What you want to be conscientious about with this energy that we're experiencing with Venus and Jupiter in Cancer is the difference between feeling energetically emotional because you're feeling sensitive versus feeling frustrated upon something by which an energetic standard is held. Those are different things. And the way you can usually tell, okay, the way you can usually tell whether your emotions are coming from the ego or they're coming from the higher self in relationality to a standard is, do you feel comfortable saying out of your mouth the thing that frustrates you? If it is the ability to feel energetically confident to speak upon why one is energetically frustrated is typically the determination point upon the difference between a standard that we are holding and we're hoping to see something better upon versus the experience of working through the egoic self that often feels sensitivities to things that are very old wounds, right? It's a lot of that type of force here. And I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you right now, if you're someone who does their shadow work more appropriately, and again, I don't like calling it shadow work because I know people get all spooked out by it. It's working through aversion therapy. It's understanding why we feel aversions to things, to understand the nature of something that we either need to heal from or something that we have an energetic standard upon. If you're doing that work more effectively, it's easier to kind of navigate through this. But even if you're navigating through that in this way, it can feel often like you're dealing with a lot of others' projections. So don't match energy, right? Please don't match energy right now. Please don't assume things in this energy, okay? Ask questions. Give someone the benefit of the doubt. Make sure that you are remember, we only create trauma when we're being energetically illogical. So make sure that if you're feeling or you're navigating something that is confusing, that you are the force of clarity, that you are the force of logic. Because I keep on hearing logic and emotion they're not separate. They move in accordance with one another when we are working towards being energetically balanced. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I'd encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who attended our recent class this week on the Tower card. Our next class is going to be held on Wednesday, September 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Star card. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to as a paid monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you a recap on everything that we've been seeing and reading and with everything that we've been studying prior to beginning that class. But listen, if you wanted to sign up for the classes, it's a perfect opportunity to sign up now, because with over a month of time, you could have about 4 hours worth of classes each week, and you would be all caught up for our next class. You'll also have access to one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned or studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, you will also receive full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. That is access to over 9 hours worth, not 9, 17, not 9, 17 hours worth of material in an ever expanding library. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also have access to my Mystic Meditation articles, which I release bi-monthly to help you work through the energy that we're currently experiencing. I'll be releasing one shortly on navigating this new moon that we've got coming up in just a couple of days. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. I have access for those who would like more consistent weekly tarot support, weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase those per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.